A very good morning to you, dear listener, and welcome to Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on Agate Radio 95.5, Star FM, Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Today's edition of Perspectives is sponsored by the Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards at the Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University, Makurdi, CIPESS-JOSTUM. On this edition, we shall dive into the mandate and initiatives of the Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards at the Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University, Makurdi, that is with the acronym CIPESS-JOSTUM, which is with a mission to produce a critical mass of highly skilled and fit-for-purpose professionals in the areas of procurement, environmental and social standards to be a dynamic regional hub for experts training and research in public procurement, environmental and social standards based on global best practices. Our panel of experts will discuss CIPESS-JOSTUM's role in addressing Nigeria's developmental challenges, its research and training programs, and the impact of its initiatives on local communities, not just here in Benue State, but in Nigeria and, of course, the West African sub-region. Joining us as panelists on this edition is the Center Leader and Director of CIPESS-JOSTUM, Professor Lami, Nnamonu. Welcome to Perspectives, Professor.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Dr. Chris Eche is the Deputy Director of CIPESS-JOSTUM, and he is a co-panelist on the program. Good to have you join us. Welcome to Agate Radio, Dr. Eche.
Thank you very much, Nat, for having me here.
I am Nathaniel Nongu, welcoming you to this Monday edition of Perspectives. And if this is your first time tuning into the program, kindly be informed that Perspectives is audience participatory. We usually broadcast on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week between 9 and 11 a.m. And at 10 o'clock, we allow you, the listener, to make the microphone yours by calling in on the line 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. That is the line to participate on the program. You may have questions or clarifications or a contribution on the subject matter we are discussing. In the meantime, the line which is available for SMS, and you can also contribute through text, through WhatsApp, is 0912-699-9404, 0912-699-9404. You may log onto our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us and access other content of Agate Radio as well. You can also download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, a one-stop app that serves you to listen to the radio, watch the television online, as well as read the newspaper. We're available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where our programs are streaming. Our Perspectives in particular is streaming. You can join us there. We're all there to serve you. We'll take a short break, and once we are back, our discussion starts here in the studio. Kindly stay with us, dear listener. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back from that short break. Let's begin, and I'd like to begin with you, Center Leader and Director. What does the Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards, CIPESS, stands for, and what is the rationale behind its establishment?
Thank you so much, Nathaniel. It's good to start that way. So, the Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards, CIPESS, is the name we gave our SPESSE project. SPESSE, SPESSE, is the Sustainable Procurement, Environmental, and Social Standards Enhancement Project. Now, that project, you also have it in 6 other federal universities in Nigeria. So the CIPESS project is a World Bank assisted project, and of course it's a federal government initiative, and this was established through a very highly competitive process, I tell you, Nathaniel. It was so very highly competitive between all federal universities in Nigeria, because the federal government had the aim to establish one of these CIPESS projects in each of the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. And so we competed, in Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University, competed with all the universities, in the 6 north central states and Abuja. And I mean, it was such a very highly competitive thing that they were called to Abuja. The NUC drove, of course, the selection process, and universities were shortlisted at different stages, and we emerged winner of this to host this project in the Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University. That's the one for the North Central Geopolitical Zone. So that is the one we are hosting. So you see, it's not, it's a federal government project, but it caters for all the 6 states in the North Central Geopolitical Zone, and of course the Federal Capital Territory. So that's our scope, and so what we do, from our mission is that we train. We are basically a training center. So it's sponsored by the World Bank for like 5 years in the first instance, after which, the World Bank sponsorship would terminate. But of course, I want to tell you from the word go, I want to tell you for free that CIPESS is here to stay in JOSTUM, because it's been owned by the university. So it's now in the fabric of our university, and it's not about, in fact, it's going to be propelled, into pilot mode when the World Bank withdraws their funding. A lot has been done about this, So the project, the bids to host to these 6 universities were awarded in 2019. So we have one in Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University for our zone. There's one in ATBU Bauchi, the CIPESS Center of Excellence, and there's one in ABU Zaria. There's another in University of Lagos. There is one in Federal University of Technology, Owerri, and then one for the last geopolitical zone, and not the least, in University of Benin. So that's, in a nutshell, about CIPESS. I believe as we go on, other things about what we stand for and what we do would, be made open to the public. Thank you.
When you said the process was highly competitive and
Wow.
just to scale through, we must sincerely congratulate you for scaling through a competitive process to host this center here in the entire North Central region that you are covering.
Thank you.
Dr. Eche, I am with you now. Also share your thoughts on what CIPESS stands for, and if there's anything you would like to add to the rationale establishing it, as pointed out by your director and center leader.
Yeah. So, as the director has earlier mentioned, capacity in those 3 thematic areas she highlighted: procurement, environmental, and social standards. The whole idea is to begin to see how conversation around how to cope issues of corruption in public service can be addressed. Most times this thing begins from the procurement process. How do you procure things in public service? How do you ensure that while you're making any form of procurement to, trigger a developmental project, you don't affect the social livelihoods of those that will be benefiting from your project? And how do you ensure that the environment is safeguarded against the quote-unquote now new development you're bringing into that community? So it was this thinking, I like to call it the tripartite thinking for enhanced living, that triggered some of these conversations we begin to see making waves around the country. for which, if my director permits me, I can also put it on air, that we have been leading in terms of project implementation. We didn't just get this project, but Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University, Makurdi, has been topmost since the implementation, or since the inception of the implementation of this project. And that is a big win for us as a university, but also as Benue. So again, just to wrap it up, the thinking is, how do we build capacity? Because there's clearly a gap in these three areas as people implement projects. There is clearly a gap. And I'd like to ask you this question too, from this point. Do you think these people that that assist in the IDPs, these people that volunteer in the IDPs, what sort of trainings do they have? It will shock you that this gap has existed for years. But with this project now, we are even training people on how do you attend to the needs of displaced persons or displaced communities, in giving a professional dimension to these sort of things we do, so that the issue of corruption, even at that level, doesn't even come up. And the issue of procurement in public offices, how do you trigger it? How do you initiate the process? And how do you bring it to a closure? So all these things are areas, maybe we can mention that later on, that we are building human capacity in. And that is essentially the rationale behind the establishment of or the SPACE project, if I put it that way, that CIPESS is establishing. It's implementing, I mean to say.
All right. Prof, back to you. Your center is built on a tripartite relationship between being promoted by three standards. What are the three standards that you basically focus on?
Okay. Thank you so much. Before I address your question, I want to say that, this SPACE project, implementation is one of the few things that makes me lift my shoulders high and say, wow, I'm proud to be Nigerian. Because the federal government of Nigeria is the first country in the whole world, underlined, to take credit from the World Bank to train her workforce in these three areas that we're going to talk about. The three areas are procurement standards. That's number one. The second is environmental standards. And the third is social standards. Now, you see, we don't need to go to an oracle to be told that public procurement is an area that is bedeviled with a lot of inappropriate practices. In fact, research has confirmed that for every 10 naira spent in Nigeria on procurement activities, between 4 to 6 naira gets lost to sharp and unethical practices. So needs assessments were carried out by the federal government. Business cases were established that, oh wow, when you talk about corruption, it's not that Nigeria is the headquarters of corruption in the world. No way. Corruption is everywhere. But we're not the least corrupt nation. You know what I mean? So this project is supposed to sanitize. Let the people that will get involved in carrying out procurement activities at every level, be it in the organized private sector, in the public sector, or in government, let them know that there are these standards. There are these standards that are based by international best practice. So, when you know something, if you don't know a thing, then it's very easy for you to abuse or misuse it. You can claim ignorance if you don't know. So if your capacity is built in procurement and you're you know what you're supposed to do, we get a lot of this. Oh, wow. Because we're training people that have been engaged in procurement, in quotes, for all their career years. But when their eyes are open to these, standards, they're like, wow, is this what it's supposed to be? Wow, now I know. So this is, then environmental standards. I want to say again, you don't need to go to a soothsayer to see that our environment has been grossly abused and is deteriorating. Research has told the world that if we don't clean up our game on Earth, the Earth, planet Earth, will become uninhabitable in very few years. About 10, 15, 20 years, planet Earth will become uninhabitable, Nathaniel. That is the point here. So if we don't clean up our act, so environmental sustainability, environmental standards is to also open the eyes of you and I to the things we need to do. I'm so happy, I was listening to radio, the Minister for Water Resources was talking about, open defecation and how we want to make it history in Nigeria and all of that. I think Nigeria is the only country where open air defecation still takes place. So that among so many things. By the way, I must tell our listeners that Dr. Chris Eche is not just the deputy director, he's the head of Department of Environmental Sustainability in Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University. So this is about social standards. If there is any state that needs to be educated, to know, to hold the reins of social standards, it is Benue State. We have so many IDP camps. We have, when you talk about social standards, social equity, social justice, it's not about a man battering his wife or vice versa. We're told that ladies batter their husbands too. We want to be, gender sensitive. Battering is not just physical slaps and punches, So battering goes on both ways. So it's not just about battering, man-woman battering. Incivility goes on in several places. Equity, use of facilities. People are angry and hungry, and before you know it, you say something, wow, a slap lands on your face. So, we could go on and on and on about the kind of things. And when you're talking about a nation, if your nation must develop in a balanced way, the social standards must be properly, attended to and, looked into. Yeah.
Very well. Dr. Eche, give us your thoughts on what is a tripartite relationship between the three standards promoted by CIPESS.
Okay,
JOSTUM.
so the relationship here that we are promoting under this project is simply that you must consider these three thematic areas as you implement whatever project you want to implement. The three must come into full play. If you have a project, you have to buy. I don't know, maybe I use the word procure. Mm-hmm. You have to procure a thing.
Because that is the one
do I need to break
balance.
this? Maybe
Sure.
Yeah, we should, so that we don't make assumptions. So
Yes.
procurement will be the act of, number one, identifying a need, and then setting in place processes that will help meet that particular need according to specification ab initio, and then ensure all proper documentation, and then ensure full delivery by way of maybe local purchasing order or contract or any of those things. Okay, so that is what we mean by procure. It's not just enough to go to the market and buy a thing and I want this and you give it. No. So procurement goes, it's thicker, it is broader than just exchange of money and service. So that is the expose that we bring to the table in our center. So we try to link these three together. That, okay, as you procure, make sure you put the environment in mind. Make sure you also put the social consequences of what you are doing in mind. There has to be a balance of these three things as you engage. And if you must do them independently as well, there are best practices that must be brought to the table. So the tripartite relationship here we try to establish is the fact that these three are interconnected. If you must, gone for a sustainable delivery of anything at all, whether in public.
For example, let's take any project that comes to mind.
Thanks for the illustration.
Let's say you want to do road construction, a common thing, okay? Road construction, because it's going on around us, like the Makurdi Otukpo road is being reconstructed. Now, you need to procure items, physical items, isn't it? Chippings, the tar, and all of that, the machines, and, you need to engage the vendor, the contractor that is going to do it. All those are procurement activities, procurement, consultancy, and all of that. Now, in that, to make the road, you need to, you tamper with the environment. You're going to be raising dust. You're going to be creating a lot of machine noise. You're going to be, doing stuff, asphalts. We know the health effects of asphalt on the people. This road, the 96-kilometer road, for example, passes through people's, homes and villages. And so people's environment is going to be affected. Now, what that's environmental sustainability. Now, what about the social aspect? Because people have asked, you people are doing 3 unconnected things. No, they are all so interwoven. Now, look at that road construction still. You're going to be displacing people. Like that road, Otukpo Makurdi, that I'm using, for the analogy here.
Yes.
It's been widened. It's now a 2-lane.
Dual carriage.
Exactly, dual carriage. Bless you, my brother. And so it's widened. People's homes, people's farmlands, so were tampered with. The people need to be settled. People's shrines might have been, permit me to use that word, worship places might have been, disturbed as well. So that is the social angle. So you can't really separate these 3, especially the environmental and the social. They are so inextricably intertwined that you can't talk about, even if you're building your house, for example, and it's really amazing. It's appalling that there are houses in Makurdi, our dear Makurdi, where people just build houses and they are not thinking about their waste disposal, because the mantra is manage the waste you create. People don't build incinerators. They don't think about how to dispose their wastes. And some people just put up houses. There are no toilets. And you see them going to nearby uncompleted buildings and all of that. So I'm using my state because that's Benue State, because a man with experience, you could use your experience to portray your. I wouldn't talk about maybe Sokoto State. I haven't been there. I'm talking about my state, Benue State. So these are the things that. So these 3 areas, apparently they look like unconnected, but they are so deeply. The marriage is eternal.
There's an example that came to mind while the director was speaking.
Yeah.
It's okay. I won't mention name now because I'm on air. But there was this project that was implemented, and then they had expatriates, Chinese, who were deployed to that community to engage.
Yes.
So 2 years down the line, they found out that they started having how do you call those children now?
Mulattoes.
Mulattoes. That's a mixed African Chinese, a mixed breed. So what has happened? So what were the things in place to ensure that the issue of sexual harassment, the issue of sexual abuse, and all that were fully checked? You see, so there is a new dimension to project implementation now. Whether you're doing it as a state government or you're doing it on an international finance project, there is a new dimension that must come into place. So we want to bring this development into this community. How do we ensure that, one, the act of even bringing in the facilities and everything we need is properly documented? 2, how do we ensure that this project we are bringing here does not tamper with our environment? And at the same time, how do we safeguard whoever will be involved with that project, both the workers, the benefiting community, and even the non-affected project persons?
That's right.
So this is the kind of relationship we are promoting under this project. I thought I should bring this example. It's a true life story, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that we begin to have a conversation to see that there is really need. These areas that people are not looking into, just think you bring development, you just do it and go. Years after, you start seeing emerging issues that you cannot contain anymore. Like the case of the mulatto, people are just, they're asking themselves, why am I looking like this? And you can't tell them their story. So these are the issues, yeah.
All right. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 98 of Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards, Joseph Sarwuan, Tarka, University of CIPESS-JOSTUM, Professor Lami, Nnamonu, and of course the Deputy Director of CIPESS-JOSTUM, Dr. Chris Eche, is with us on the panel as well. At 10 o'clock, you can participate on the program by reaching us on the number 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the SMS line, which is also available on WhatsApp, you can reach us through that line, which is 0912-699-9404, 0912-699-94. Maybe a contribution or a question you want to ask on the program. You can also log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us where the program is streaming and access other content of Agate Radio as well. You can download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, which serves you to listen to the radio, watch the television online, as well as read the newspaper. All this to serve you. We're available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where the program is streaming and other content of Agate Radio as well. Join us there to be a part of the conversation. Center leader, I would like to have your thoughts. When you mentioned social standards and environmental protection, recently Benue have experienced flood, which seems to be a perennial thing in Nigeria. To what extent can we have your center take initiatives that would prevent the perennial flooding in Benue communities?
Thank you so much. You see, maybe we need to look at the causes. What are the key causes of flooding? You know, one major reason why floods happen is because of anthropogenous activities, the things you and I do. So if you and I block up our drains, the gutters that the government has so graciously, the drains they have done by the roadside, we block them up with our refuse. And then we stand back and say, hey, flood, let's Governor Alia come and do this flood so that it won't be flooded. It will not work. The change starts with me. Reckless abandon. They don't see that what they are doing is wrong. So there's things we do that cause these floods. So it's not what my center is doing is the key thing. It's the cardinal thing. We're not going to be clearing drains. We're not going to be building extra drains. The drains are enough. Makurdi is a well-planned city, I tell you. But we are training people to know the things they should do and the things they should not do. The things they are doing wrong and then asking them to change. Because we are training people to be drivers of change. Change drivers. I remember the story of change drivers.
Yes.
You know, a company was talking about change drivers, change drivers, and then the drivers of the automobiles, cars were like, wow, they want to change it. In Lafia, we train the top level manpower, civil service. We've done that in Benue State before now, and actually we are waiting for Governor Alia. Right now, as I speak with you, our letter is going to the governor for him to give us an appointment to come tell him what we're doing so that we'll engage him again, because the reins have changed hands. We spoke with the immediate past governor, Governor Tom, and we interacted with the then head of civil service, and we trained some people. But there's a lot to be done. So we're training people to know, like what happened in Nasarawa State. Some of the testimonials of the people that were trained would be like, wow. They were like, wow, me, I'm going to be planting trees. They were saying, I didn't know this. I'm going to, when you fell one tree, plant three to replace. this reckless abandon with which we cut economic trees because we want to make charcoal, want to make money, and then we do things here and there that exacerbates this negative environmental effects, and then we say, oh, government, come and help, small money, so that your refuse will be collected and properly disposed. I know that a lot of people will rise against it, but I know that is how it works. We shouldn't expect the government to be the ones to be doing all of this for us. We need to see what we can do to make our lives, our environment better. So the drains that we are blocking is one of the reasons flood is happening. And we are training people to know that you should dispose your waste properly and not pour it into the drains to block and cause floods.
Okay, Dr. Eche, you like to chip in a word on that briefly before we move to the next issues?
Yes, just a brief comment there to also add that we are collaborating with different government institutions too.
That's true.
Because you do know, if I understood the question from another angle, we don't have a direct policy that we can implement as a center. We are under an institution, and even the institution itself. So there are regulated authorities like Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Women Affairs,
yes, Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance. There are dedicated arms that we are trying to see how we can collaborate with them to get them to activate some of these things. At the national level, the Ministry of Environment is already working with all the centers of excellence to see how they can even come up with certification programs such that people that are trained from these centers can get some level of certification at different levels. And the same thing with Bureau for Public Procurement and which one again, Director? The other ICE.
Ministry of Women
Affairs and this social development. Yeah. So these are the conversations that are going on, and I can tell you for free that very soon some of these initiatives we see we've been preaching on and all that would begin to come together formidably to see how we can endanger sustainable solutions.
Let me just drop this. Also, in line with what he has said,
yes,
we are engaging to affect policy. The CIPESS project is engaging with the Federal Civil Service, to establish, to make these cadres, so that it's not just a flash in the pan, one shot kind of thing. So cadres, the one of procurement has gone really very, very far, and for environmental standards and social standards, the process has been kickstarted.
All right. When you mention CIPESS, and of course CIPESS is involved here, maybe the listener may be confused. So what?
Yes, thank you so much. It's good to bring listeners that are joining now, on the same page with us, because initially we said the CIPESS is the project that the federal government has initiated. Okay?
Yes.
CIPESS is the project, Sustainable Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards Enhancement Project. There's something that exists, but the federal government wants to enhance it. We are not tabula rasa. It's not that we don't know anything about the environment or what to do about it or about procurement or social standards, but this is an enhancement. So the CIPESS is a project that is, assisted by the World Bank. It's a federal government project assisted by the World Bank. So CIPESS is in 6 federal universities, but each university was asked to christen their own CIPESS project. So we christened our own, we baptized, we gave our own CIPESS project the name CIPESS. So our CIPESS project is called the Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards. That CIPESS is only in Makurdi, in Benue State, but CIPESS is in 6 states of the Federation.
Okay. Dr. Eche, a word on that to help the listener understand the difference between CIPESS and CIPESS, which is one and only with JOSTUM, CIPESS.
Okay, one word. CIPESS is a center.
Yes.
CIPESS is a project.
All right. That's fine. Good to know that. And of course, we hope the listener is getting to understand. Now, Director,
yes,
how does CIPESS aim to contribute to the development of Nigeria's procurement, environment, and social sectors?
how CIPESS
Yes, aim to contribute to Nigeria's development in terms of procurement, environmental, and social standards across the three broad areas you're focusing on, the sectors involved.
Yes, thank you so much. Like we have talked about establishment of cadres, we have talked about training. Training that's our primary purpose. That's our primary mandate. We train people, because if you don't know, you might use that. Ignorance is no longer an excuse because, the time has come now. Before now, Nathaniel, if you and I want to get into public office, they will ask, oh, which university did you attend? Where did you study? Who were your classmates and all? The time has come and is now. See, unemployed, the employed, private sector, public sector. If you want to go into public office now, the question will not just be what's your level of education? The question will be, where is your certification in procurement? So we are training people in these three areas. Okay?
Yes.
When we train, the 6 centers of excellence in these 6 states we mentioned are training the generality of Nigerian citizens. Okay? And so we train, and then the 3 implementing agencies certify. So we train people in procurement, for example. The Bureau of Public Procurement in Abuja, BPP, would certify the people we have trained. Okay? We were trained by the World Bank. Can I tell you something? This procurement management, before CIPESS came, there was no university in Nigeria that was given a degree or a similitude of it, at all in procurement management. You had Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply Management. You had polytechnics doing that, but no degree. No university had been awarding any degree in these 3 areas: procurement, management. So everybody in Nigeria, anybody that has a degree, some certification in procurement management, before CIPESS came, got it from outside here, outside this country. People from Italy, from other parts of Europe, from the US and all of that. So this is a pilot project. The CIPESS thing is a pilot project, and when it succeeds in Nigeria, notice I didn't say if it succeeds, because it's already a success. When it succeeds in Nigeria, it's going to be taken to other parts of Africa and then the rest of the world, because the needs assessment revealed the fact that this CIPESS would bring down, would decrease the corruption index, okay? And corruption is everywhere. So Nigeria grabbed the bulls by the horns, the federal government, like I tell you, I'm proud till tomorrow, and come, let's do this here. So if it works here, this is going to be taken to the rest of the world. So we are happy that we are pioneers in this implementation. And when we started training, we started from our Jerusalem. We started from Benue State. We started from our university. We started from the Benue State Civil Service before we launched out, out of our comfort zone to other states of the North Central geopolitical zone.
All right. Now, Dr. Eche, what types of training programs does CIPESS offer, and who are the target beneficiaries in Benue State and beyond the North Central region where you cover?
Yeah. So basically, there are 5 levels, now 6. So there is what we call track A. It's the short courses, just 1 week, short courses. Then we have the advanced certificate courses in the 3 areas: in procurement, standard, environmental standard, and social standards. There's the advanced certificate courses. Then we have the postgraduate diploma, PGD courses as well. Those are the academic ones now. We have the master's degree in the 3 areas as well. And we also have now, we are going in for a PhD in the 3 areas as well. So, of course,
that's BSc.
We have BSc, that's the track E. So these are some of the courses that we have currently going on, or the different levels of courses that we have, or what you want to call programs that we're implementing in the center as of now.
Okay.
Now, talking about the target audience, that's critical.
Okay, yeah.
Very well.
We want people to know that these programs are for them. Like the short courses, anybody, anywhere, just come, do your short course. and be prepared, be armed, Like I said, the time is past. If you don't have any certification in procurement, you will no longer hold public office in Nigeria. That has been stamped because the federal government is saying, come and train. So it's for everybody, the unemployed, the whatever level. When we started the short courses in Makurdi here, professors were getting trained. Directors, commissioners, 7 commissioners came and took this training because they saw the importance of this to, good governance. So, and then NYSC people, unemployed, were also training. So you see a class where you have a commissioner and professors and then NYC, because everybody needs this training. So for the short courses, whatever your training, whatever your career, come and get certificates in short courses in these 3 areas. Then of course the advanced certificate, when you've done the short courses, you go for the advanced certificate. The audience is still the same thing. Private sector, public sector, we workforce. As long as you work, come and get trained. And then, of course, PGD and MSc in these 3 areas. No matter your first degree, like it's a pilot project.
Very well. I was actually going to come to that. That does one need to have an academic background in these areas before you take the training? But you are just on it, so I will allow you to go on with it.
Okay. For the short courses, you don't need an academic background. For the short courses, you don't need an academic background as long as you can read and write and you can read the material, okay?
Yes.
Then you should come for the short courses, and that's what we've been experiencing. You need, as long as you can read and write too, not just, and you're working, okay, or you're unemployed, but you can read and write and understand the training material, And then if you don't have to be technology savvy, you don't have to be tech savvy. We were doing face-to-face courses, even though now we've gone online, so that if you want to do it self-paced, you can also come. So managers, bank managers, finance, anybody, the uniformed men, oil and gas, they've been training. We've been training them. We've trained people from 401 Special Brigade. Wonderful people, the social standards. So it's just everybody. And then the BSc program, it's on the JAMB brochure. So you don't have to, you just finish secondary school and come and do your BSc. Then the PGD and the MSc, there are related courses, that are linked, relevant courses that you would have done, and you can take, I'm a professor of chemistry, but I have been trained in procurement. I don't know if you get the point. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So whatever your area, we all need this training in these 3 areas.
All right. I hope when I come for the training. By the way,
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to put you.
The short courses, what kind of duration when you enroll that you're looking towards its completion, Dr. Eche?
Just 1 week.
Okay.
5 days.
But what we do, in order to enrich the experience of our, what I call it, participants now, we try to expand to 3 weeks, meaning that we provide 3 courses, 3 short courses. So if you enroll, you have to take 3 of those short courses, so that at the end of your stay with us, instead of just doing 1 week and getting 1 certificate, you go with 3 certificates in 3 different areas within the standards you enrolled into. But essentially, our short courses short course span for just 1 week.
Yeah.
But we go 3 weeks because we want them to have 3 short courses to enrich their experience.
Because international best practice, thank you, Didi. The international best practice is that every short course is for 35 hours. 35 hours is the internationally accepted standard for short courses. And 35 hours, broken into 5 days of the week, Monday to Friday, is 7 hours a day. And that's how our training lasts. 7 hours a day. You come in at 10, you don't leave till 5 p.m. That's what we were doing. And when we were training free, we were giving lunch, because we don't want you to leave and say, hey, I'm going on lunch break, or I'm going on school run. Arrange for people to pick your children. We train you. We make sure, because the World Bank is interested in your getting to know this. It's not just like forgive me to say, the Nigerian factor. I go and enroll for a course, I just sign and then go to my farm, go to my market, and at the end I come and collect certificates. 0. It doesn't happen. with CIPESS-JOSTUM. When you enroll, you enroll. You sit there, we give you lunch, you eat, you don't go for lunch break and refuse to come back, and we are sure. Because at the end, the World Bank, we call 15% of the people that we claim we have trained and ask them, were you trained? They will ask you questions on the cause, the implementation of this project. Yeah.
Okay, now, how do people get to enroll? The process of applying to enroll for these courses, be then the training, of course, the masters and PG programs, other PG programs you have.
Yes, the SPECI project leverages on technology. Okay, so
yes.
and we want to make life easy for you out there. We don't want you to be coming to Uni Agric in this era of we know what transport is, across 7 rivers and 7 seas. I tell people in Makurdi, when I'm in the South Bank here, I tell them I walk overseas, When you cross River Benue, you are overseas.
Absolutely.
We don't want you coming overseas to fill forms. So we've made your life easy. Just go online, www.cipesfoam.edu.ng. Every of our program, you apply online and at zero cost. You don't pay anything to apply.
Okay, and when you apply and you are taking the tuition, does it look like something an average income earner can afford?
Oh, wow. I want to stress this. The short courses, we were training free. We were begging people since 2019, because COVID-19 happened, COVID-20, COVID-21, and all of that. So the project was launched by the federal government. The vice president at the time, Shibanjo, launched it at NUC Abuja. So project effectiveness happened in 2022. Nathaniel, there is no free lunch even in Freetown, but we were training free because it's sponsored by the World Bank and giving lunch. So don't go, stay and eat. Lunch, that me, I can't even afford it in my family. Rice, salad and chicken,
A professor should not be unable to afford lunch.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But the era of, free training is like over. So you pay some kind of charges, not exorbitant. It's affordable. Each of those short courses will cost like 400 to 350,000 online, and we're giving it free.
Okay.
So now the World Bank has said, oh yeah, target is being met. You need to introduce small charges, because your heart is where your money is, Nathaniel, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So now put some small money, get the training that will turn your life around for the better.
It's okay. As we go along, we are going to interrogate that. But soon enough, we are going to engage with the listener. Dr. Eche, before we engage with the listener, what is the scope of your training? How many persons have been benefited since inception of the SPECI project?
Okay. Let me start with how many persons have benefited from the project since inception, right? So as my director earlier mentioned, over 10,000, all states in north central Nigeria. I'm talking about Benue State, Kogi State, Nasarawa State, Niger State, the FCT, and what's the last one now? And
Kwara State.
No.
Okay, Kwara, Plateau, Nasarawa.
Yeah, Plateau State. Thank you very much. And Plateau State. So we've covered trainings in all these areas. And we've trained over 10,000 for the short courses we have done in these states, plus the FCT in north central Nigeria. That is minus those we have been doing online that course across the whole country. And even we had participants from other countries, took our courses to online. We have, for the advanced certificate courses, we have trained over 400 professionals in advanced certificate courses, which span for 3 weeks. For MSc, we have currently enrolled. For PGD, we have over 52 currently enrolled. And for the undergraduate program, we have about 92 or so currently enrolled. This is minus the new enrollment we are seeing for this new academic session we are starting in the university. But just to give you an idea of how many persons have benefited from this project so far, It's quite a huge number. But this is even me being modest, because I believe the real statistics is even there, right there in the center, if you care to know. Then on the scope I earlier mentioned, we go round and round and round all states in the north central Nigeria. We are also not limited to just training specifics in terms of general audience. We also target some audiences at some point. We have trained, Director earlier mentioned, we trained some military officers. How do you engage when you go out there to interface with the community, even as a uniformed man? Because there are issues. For you're going there to maybe solve a crisis situation. How do you engage with them? How do you put yourself outside your uniform? Anyways, we've trained the military, some officers with the military in Makurdi here. We have also trained all vice chancellors in north central universities. And it was a huge success in Abuja. Yeah. Recently, we also trained the workforce of Nasarawa state government. And even the governor himself was there to cheer that ceremony. And it was something the Nasarawa state government is really, really proud of, and they are engaging on next steps. And our next step is also to engage with the executive governor of Benue State to see how we can also train the workforce of Benue State to enhance what we are doing, even though in pockets some of them got approvals at some point to participate in our general training. We're hoping that we want to have a tailor-made training for Benue State as a government and see how we can take it off from there.
Okay, Director, you want to chip in a word on that briefly, and of course, how will CIPESS executive and advanced certificate courses benefit the existing workforce in procurement, environment, and social standards? Briefly, because we are due to engage with this now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it's how these courses will engage the workforce.
Yes.
Is clear that from the kind of things the kind of impact that we hear from our alumni that have trained in Benue State and other states. Let it be on record that it was our center that came out of our comfort zone first and started training in other states of their geopolitical zone.
Thank you.
We blazed the trail, and other centers are now following. Other centers in other geopolitical zones are now doing what we started, at the risk of sounding immodest. Okay, so people that have been trained have had promotions. People that have been trained have had secondments. Can I do some names dropping here?
Yes.
The current Director General of the Benue State Procurement Commission,
Yes.
Engineer Dr. Comfort Adadu. She was trained by CIPESS in procurement, and she's a facilitator with CIPESS. The World Bank trained her, and she's a facilitator with CIPESS. So, with that kind of impact, what more? And she is an engineer by profession. She got the CIPESS training, and she is now heading procurement in the state. So how would you say we shouldn't walk with our shoulders high? You get the point? And then, when the BSc people, when we train them, the career prospects are enormous. I want to seize this. I believe this is not the last minute.
Not at all.
I want to say to parents out there, get your wards and your children to come and enroll for BSc in procurement management. It's a new course. There's this fear of the unknown. People think, which one be procurement? I know. I remember a parent that was crying that, hey, the child wanted to go and do microbiology. The child wants to go and study people's piss and poo. And because the woman didn't know, the prospects ahead of her daughter if she studied microbiology. So the prospects are enormous. If we have time, we'll talk about the kind of careers. It's not a career talk we are here for, but there's no harm in telling the students, the children, the kind of things they can do with procurement management, the kind of things they can do and become with environmental sustainability, the kind of things they can do and become with sustainable social development. So we are talking to parents. These are brand new things. Embrace them. Jettison the fear of the unknown. This is where the world is gravitating to. We've moved. Let's move to the next level. Thank you.
Sorry,
Very well.
my director didn't mention, you mentioned the DG of Benue State
Yes.
Bureau for Public Procurement. What of Nasarawa State?
Tell us so.
So we also have in Nasarawa State, and even the current Director General for Bureau for Public Procurement, Nigeria nationally,
yes.
was recently appointed, Mr. Debowale. He's also a facilitator in CIPESS. So these are ways we are seeing that how best can you create change outside deploying change agents into the society.
All right, dear listener, we are due to... Welcome back from that short break, dear listener. And if you are just joining us, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. Our discussion is focused on the mandate of the Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards at the Joseph Sarwuan Tarka University, Makurdi CIPESS-JOSTUM. Leading the conversation here in the studio is the Center Leader and Director, CIPESS-JOSTUM, Professor Lami, Nnamonu, and of course the Deputy Director of CIPESS-JOSTUM, Dr. Chris Eche, is with us as a co-panelist. You can call in on 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we would like to know your full name and where you're calling from. Then you go ahead and make your submission. Please keep it brief. You can also send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404, 0912-699-9404. That line is also available on WhatsApp. Remember to include your full name and the location tips.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Good to have you. Very well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. This is Solomon Peke.
CIPESS will give you an award for being a first caller on that program. Go ahead, Solomon Peke.
Most of the times, if I want to contribute on programs like this, I feel sad for being in the rural area because we are left out for such programs like this. But I want to tell you and the professor and that doctor in the house that we in the rural area, we don't supposed to be left out. We need to be having awareness campaign in the villages so that people living in the village has the same life, has the same knowledge, and the capacity of participating in such programs. So we should be carrying on in this campaign. But when it comes to campaign of casting votes, we see people from town in our rural agents to participate by coming to rural areas so that people in the rural area will also participate.
All right.
You see how people dump refuse. You see how people danger their children to hygienic. And it's the same life we have with the same life of people in the town.
All right.
That is my problem. So we need to be carried on.
Solomon, thank you. We hope CIPESS is listening. And of course, we are going to ask them to tell us the inclusion for rural people in this project. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. All right, 0814-335-9292 is the line to participate on the program. Of course, Solomon making his fears known about the inclusion of the rural people in this project. When we are back, it will help us understand how you are doing that. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost connection with that caller already. but the line is still available. If you're not able to get through to the call line, send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404 because sometimes the traffic could be
Good morning,
correct.
Nathaniel.
Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you. My greetings to the discussant in the studio.
Thank you.
Well done. It's just a simple question I want to ask.
But we know your name and where you are calling in from. Then you ask your
I'm
question.
sorry, my name is Comrade Achimi Oguche, calling from Modern Market Road.
All right.
They are advising people to enroll in the CIPESS, discuss the financial cost implication. Is the cost given on free basis? What are the cost implications for intending enrollees? That's just my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Achimi.
Right.
We'll talk about
All
that.
right.
Thank you very much
All
for
right.
calling in.
Thank you.
Okay, Achimi wants to know the cost. The free days are over. Now people are paying for it, and we'll get to know how much one we need to pay because Achimi sounds interested. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Yeah, good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, my name is Fiasi.
Yes, sir. Prof can hear you. Go
Yes,
on.
good morning.
Yeah, I call first as a beneficiary of this program. I've done the program, the short course on the freshwater microplastic watermark. I want to say that the center is living up to its mandate. I want to appreciate them so much for what they are doing. The standard is there, both the physical program and the online program. The materials, what it, and the facilitators are also doing the best to impact. And let me tell you that I've got to learn a lot. My first degree was in biology, BSc biology, and most of the things we do in that freshwater microplastic pollution and management were the things that really brought back my knowledge about some of the things I ignore. I want to say that they should, where I want to advise is the number of participants on the physical program. Because I had applied for the physical program, but I was not, by the time I could get there. So I want to appeal to them that they should extend the number of participants on the physical program. And I appreciate them for involving women so much. Keep on.
All right.
To extend the number of participants on the physical program.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Prof, for doing a good job and keep doing it and your team leader. Thank you.
Please, what's your name again?
Fiasi Mutun.
My
Okay.
name is Fiasi Mutumbi.
Oh, okay.
Fiasi, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to your ICT team. They are doing good.
All right.
Thank you.
Fiasi, thank you. Thank you for calling in. That's from the horses, my beneficiary, Fiasi Mutun, that has shared his experience. Congratulations to you, by the way. And of course, the observations you have pointed out, we hope the center should look into. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank you for joining us on the program.
Sunday Wajan from Mapa in both local government of Panelists.
Very well. Hi, Sakpai, this morning.
It's cool. The Hamatan winds are blown.
Oh, you are at the right place. We'll talk about environmental sustainability so that you cope with Hamatan. Go ahead. Don't worry.
That's very well. Yes, my regards to the people you brought in the video for us this morning.
Yes.
I must appreciate Target Radio and you, Nathaniel, for bringing these people on board this morning.
Thank you,
The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So bringing people to educate us and also invite us to get enrolled so that we'll get the requisite knowledge concerning environment, concerning social hazards and management of waste. It's very important for us this morning. And my question is that, is there any room for even farmers to get enrolled? That's my question. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, James. Is there room for farmers to enroll? We are noting these questions. Of course, we still have a room to engage with as many as the callers that are waiting on the line before we respond to some of these posers. Good morning. Hello, good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Oh, we lost connection with that caller, but the line is available. and you are not able to get through the in case you are not able to get through the call line, simply send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. The SMS line once again is 0912-699-9404. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives today.
Yes.
Yozal Mabel. How is Eche this morning?
Thank you. As far distance like Kasna, Lazaki, they are interested in this and they are not close to.
The network at your end seems to be breaking. Maybe you should change your position so we hear you well.
Okay, can you get me now?
Very well.
Okay, I say consider people from places like Zaki, Dam, Kasna, and the rest, and who are interested in this program, and they can't find themselves close to the center. How do they participate?
Okay, could that be all from you, Mabel?
Yes.
All right, thank you. We'll respond to your concern. Thank you very much for calling in. How people from distant places can also participate, can apply. Is it a blended approach? We are going to talk about that. Mabel wants to know. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yeah. This is Chakia Fidelis.
Chakia Fidelis, where are you reaching us from?
Okay, from Chakia.
Okay, Chakia is in which part of Benue?
Okay, Konshisha
Good.
Local Government.
Konshisha Local Government. Thank you, Fidelis. Go ahead.
Okay, I thank you so much for engaging this topic. But at the same time, I fought the publicity to this program. I thought such a program would have been announced earlier so that we give attention to listeners who cares to listen to your programs, particularly this one. However, I was able to join you.
All right, we're glad you made it.
It's all right. I thank the guests in the house, the prof and the doctor. They have made a very judicious use of this program and the timing for that matter. I want to ask the prof, even the doctor, how independent are they when it comes to strike? Because they are within the university system where strike is always an endemic system in the educational factor where one doesn't really know when a program will commence. Sometimes you know, but when to graduate is an issue. So I want to know how independent is this center that as soon as you get in, you know when you are coming out.
All right.
And again, I want to share the concern of other callers who have equally made point regarding the information regarding this center where they didn't know how it started, but today we are hearing that it started around 2002. I expect
2019, not 2002.
But I heard that it took
2022.
It took off proper in 2022.
Yes.
This time is long enough for the entire public would have been aware that if you are interested, you can enroll into such a program. But today, most of the people are calling and they are sharing their experiences of how it is today that they are here on this program. If I thought they didn't win.
Fidelis, thank you. We appreciate you for calling in. We are going to respond to your concerns as we go along. We're noting these questions. Don't feel that we are not noting them. We need to engage with as many of you that are desirous of knowing one or two things about CIPESS before we come back. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Hello. Good morning. Okay, unfortunately, we lost connection with that caller, but the line is still available. Send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404.
My name is Sarwuan Washima from High Level.
Sarwuan Washima, go ahead. We're listening to you.
Thank you. Thank everybody in the studio there. I'm enjoying your program, but out there. Apart from on WhatsApp or online.
Okay, could that be all from you? Say.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. We'll respond to you. Thank you for calling in. Thank you. All right. Where to get the training? So many questions we are going to get here today, but we'll respond to all as time will accommodate. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Okay, my name is brother Emeka Oji.
Yes, good to have you. Emeka Oji, where are you reaching us from?
From Welfare Quarter.
Good. Welfare quarters in Makurdi.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the angle I'm looking at from what I've heard so far is this procurement issue. Are you hearing me?
Yes, you are on. Emeka, go ahead, please.
Okay, so this the corruption in Nigeria is staggers the mind. Sometimes the kind of money we hear people stealing. My mind cannot fathom it. You hear somebody stealing 80-something billion and billions of naira. And most of these things comes from that procurement angle. And now the director and the deputy director touched on that issue. That with this training, they will be able to kind of minimize the level of corruption involved in that procurement angle. But then, human beings are human beings. Planning to see. Human beings are very clever. They can always find a way to get around the procurement procedure that have been put in place. So I don't know if there are other ways. They are talking to people to kind of make them realize that this is an honor system. Even though some human beings are not watching, you may be very clever and very intelligent in feeling.
Okay.
The Almighty, our Creator, one day will kind of call you to account. So this is the area I'm looking at. Because training human beings to do something is not enough.
All right.
Their spirit and their honor system, honorable character must be touched. I don't know if there's anything they do in that aspect to make sure that the training is wholesome.
Emeka,
Thank you.
Emeka, thank you. Thank you very much for calling in. In any case, we should make it clear to you that the center is focused on getting best practices in procurement to minimize corruption and not necessarily to change people's character. Those cutting of corners in public procurement that leads to corruption is what the center is looking at. I think we should get it clear for you to understand and every other person too. But all the same, we appreciate your contribution. Good morning. Where you're calling from, then you make a submission.
Sue from Boko.
Okay, Sue, what's the name you full?
Federal House in Boko.
Okay, but I didn't get your second name. Sue.
Aso.
Sue Aso from Federal Housing in Boko. Go ahead, Sue Aso.
A question that I want to ask. There is such program that is ongoing, and people with physical challenges, they also be there.
Hello, Sue.
Question. I'm with you.
Yes, I didn't get you clearly. You mentioned persons with disability?
Yes, physical challenge.
Okay.
Like blindness and so on and so forth. Can them also be enrolled?
So, thank you.
I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you.
And Almighty God bless you a million times.
Amen. 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 God bless you too, Sue. Thank you. Programs available by CIPESS-JOSTUM. Good morning. Hello. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Oh, we lost connection with that caller already, but the line is still available. The SMS line is also available, 0912-699-9404. Send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. That line is also available on WhatsApp. Please utilize these platforms because the traffic on the call line sometimes could be discouraging.
Yes, my name is Jonah.
From Naka in Gwe West.
Stand in the studio here. So far now I'm hearing that they are speaking well. So I want to...
Hello, Jonah? Oh, we lost connection with Jonah. Quite unfortunate. All the same, Jonah, we thank you for... You mentioned this an appreciation, and I think center leader and her deputy, they are grateful for you to appreciate their work at JOSTUM, CIPESS. Hello, good morning. Good morning. All right. Okay, I think we are gradually getting to the point where we'll respond to many of these posers, but let's engage with the call line once more. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank you for joining us.
This is Haba Lazarus from Abinse, my local government.
Ross from Abinse in Goma local government. Go ahead, we're listening to you.
Mine is also appreciate the guests in the studio. I really enjoyed the program.
Thank you.
And in fact, the question I supposed to the question I want to, so don't forget to answer that question, the first caller.
We're not forgetting any question here at all.
Please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. If your question has been asked, comes from the panelists. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Thank you so much. My name is Mr. John Ocho here, calling you from North Bank.
Okay, John Ocho, kindly move away from your radio set or turn down its volume.
I'm doing that already.
All right. I thought I got the name correctly. John Ocho, right?
John Ocho here, calling from North Bank.
Ocho Che.
Ochofie.
Ochofie.
Ochofie. Thank you. Thank you, Center Leader,
right,
for hearing very well. Okay, go ahead, Ochofie.
Okay, I wasn't opportune to join this program earlier from the beginning, and I wouldn't want us to go back. My question is, how can one actually apply for this program? Is there a contact one can call for further inquiry? Is there an office in Makurdi? The address of the office as well. Thank you, sir.
Okay, John Ochefe, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think JOSTUM is a known institution, but I will allow the panelists to state their address. It is not for me to speak in their place. All the same, we appreciate you, John Ochefe, for calling in. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to Perspectives. Oh, lost connection with that caller, but that's okay. Let's pause here for a moment and attempt to some of these questions, beginning with Solomon Peke from Uday, who wants to know the inclusion of rural people in your programs. Center Leader.
Yes, thank you so much. Before I answer the first question, I want to really sincerely thank our listeners who have stayed with us to this point, and to thank them for asking these questions. Because the questions they are asking, the level and the depth of the questions is a clear indicator of their interest in the SPECSI project and what God is doing for us here in Benue State and in the North Central Geopolitical Zone. So the first question is from Solomon, Uday local government, and of course our brother Jonah Benjamin from Naka. And their question is, rural lives matter. That is what they are saying in a nutshell.
Yes.
So the points they have raised are valid points. You know, they pay taxes just like you and I in the city. And so they have a superior argument. They have valid points. And they were asking if we're going to be training people in the hinterland, in the local government areas. Permit me to say that, yes, a lot of people have come for our training from the hinterland. People have come from Otukpo, from Boko, from Enugu, even outside the state, even outside the North Central Geopolitical Zone, because they see how critical, how significant, how, this program would affect their lives. They have come. They have sacrificed. They have come and, stayed in hotels for the period of the training. We're like, do the online one. And they were like, no, they want to come. They were happy to come. So the online one is also an option, okay? You can, let's not have this data fear, the fear of data. 500 naira data can take you very far in an online course. I had a master student of mine who was living in Kasinala, and I told him, let's do some of your lectures, virtually, using WhatsApp and Zoom. And he was like, no. I said, well, we have to. It's part of it. This is the 21st century. We need to get, online. And we did, and he was grateful for it. So with 500 naira, you can do a lot, much more than you think. So then, lastly, the third answer to that question is that we are actually planning this, reaching out to the local government areas. We wanted to start with the DGSs, the local government chairmen. We are arranging, in fact, plans are almost crystallizing, to engage in training the local government chairmen first, their DGSs and procurement officers, and then of course it would now engage with the local government. So the program started effectively in 2022. I want to announce here that it's not about to end. Let's not fear. It's not ending this year, and we want to say that a lot could still be done. A lot is going.
And of course, other callers. Does the center CIPESS have an arrangement of taking these trainings to the rural dwellers in the community?
Good one. Yes, we do, but with the design we have currently, we can't guarantee that we'll go around the 23 local. Then that means that we'll be going around the entire local government areas in all the states in North Central Nigeria, which is I don't particularly think is feasible, but yes,
I want to chip in into what the deputy director is saying.
Yes.
I'm a stubborn optimist.
Curable.
I don't see incurable optimist. I'm incurably optimistic that our wonderful governor, Dr. Hyacinth Alia, Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Alia, could do this. He could even say, CIPESS, after we engage with him, he could even say, oh yeah, the man has a heart for the people in the locality. Like the deputy director said, we might not be able to guarantee, but if the governor says, why not train my local people? Our bags are ready. That's what I would say.
All right. We hope the governor should respond.
Picked. We are engaging with the new chairman.
Yeah.
But that arrangement was on with the previous ones before so there's a transition now, and we are trying to see how we could start with the local government area chairman or chairpersons, as the case may be. Then we'll see how we can step it down to engage other officials at the local government level.
Okay. Now, Achimi opened us lately, but just a refresher, Director, briefly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so the programs have been free, totally free. That's the short course is totally free. Then
up to this moment, they are free? Or
before this moment.
Okay.
Before this moment.
Okay, but at this moment, they are
like I said, yes. Like I said, the World Bank has said they've done this free thing for these 2 years, and the MSc, the PGD, they are so incredibly subsidized. Like, what it takes to do a master's degree program in the Nigerian university now is clearly more than about 150,000.
Yes.
Tuition. But tuition is free here. The first set of our master students and PhD, and this current set, guess how much they paid in total? 35,000 naira only, as compared to maybe 185.
That's per session?
Per session. For the whole thing, you pay 35,000 naira. That will not even get you a tin of rice. When you pay that to get a master's degree in this.
From Akbai wants to know, can farmers also apply, Dr. Eche?
Yes, the director mentioned it, that provided you can read and write, why not? You can apply for our short courses. So we don't discriminate at any levels.
All right, so that is
noted. And in fact, there's a new course that was developed by the academic program coordinator for environmental standards. And that course is on agrochemicals and the environment.
Yeah.
And I think it comes very handy for these our farmers or those that are in the value chain.
So tied to what Mabel Yozaya from Achusa wants to know, those from distant places, how you factor them in the training. I don't know if there any arrangement for those who stay distant places to
yes, there's an arrangement, and it has been mentioned that we leverage on technology. So all that is required, please, I would want to plead with our audience that they just visit our website.
Yes.
There's so much information there.
All right.
CIPESS-FUAM, FUAM, CIPESS-FUAM.edu.ng.
All right.
You can put
Maybe
www.cipes-JOSTUM.edu.ng.
yes. Before we conclude, we should be able to re-emphasize our website again.
Can I add something to Mabel's question
Very
and
well.
answer? You know, she said that if the face-to-face training will be taking place, where would it take place? In addition to the how. I think somebody else also asked why.
So was a washima.
Yes.
That's tied together, whether it's online.
Likely, of course, we take this training to the people. Like we said during the main body of this engagement, we said we don't want you to travel overseas to JOSTUM. We train sometimes in Staff Development Center. We've been training at the Staff Development Center, you know, which is a government outfit. So at SDC. And you can apply online. All our applications, like we said, are online. You don't need to come to UniAgric to JOSTUM. Sorry, we are used to UniAgric, but it's JOSTUM. You know, when a young lady gets married, she changes name, but all formal documents remain valid. So when we say UniAgric, forgive us, it's because we're used to that. Yes. But we don't want you to come to JOSTUM to fill a form and go back. Do it online, on your phone, on your smartphone. You know, just do it, submit, and all of that, and you're good to go.
And closely related to that, Fidelis Checker from Conshisha wants to know how independent and insulated are your programs away from.
Is that he faulted the publicity, and we want to address that. Fidelis, you know, it's social media that people get to hear lots of things from now. It's just that Agate Radio has taken the airwaves by storm. You know, before now, we all know.
Generous compliments.
I mean, it's the truth. So CIPESS Forum has been, you know, the forum has not changed. Federal University of Agric, Makurdi. CIPESS Forum, go anywhere, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. We've been advertising on print media. We have been advertising, and then our programs go on television as well. We've been having programs on Arise News. We've had this national one was on NTA and all of that. So, but largely social media. We don't want you to, like a number of people said they missed the beginning of this program. But go to social media, you will see.
Yes, I think as part of sustainability, Director, we should look in the area of maybe having a quarterly engagement, a program that will run throughout the quarter or yearly on Agate Radio to sustain this awareness.
Yeah, I think you should get a promotion for saying that because you're marketing your work. But honestly, the second thing I want to say, Nathaniel, is that I think you're a prophet.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because that's part of our plan.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, there's always a beginning.
Yes.
So we have started. We've put our hands to the plow, and there's no looking back.
Good.
So Agate Radio would always have us. We're going to make it, you know, like a regular thing. And so you are a prophet there. I give it to you. Amen. So Fidelis' question is this. How Professor Richard, you know, Anandi Kimbi, we signed an agreement. The Vice Chancellor and the Center Leader and Director signed an agreement with the World Bank that this program will be insulated from ASU strike. I'm lowering my voice to say this because I'm a comrade, 110%.
Oh, great.
I'm a comrade, okay? But when we had the ASU strike, we had to devise ways to do the thing without stepping on our toes as ASU people, without breaking, without being blacklegs, without breaking ranks with our wonderful organization. We brought the training out of the university, and that was when we started training at Staff Development Center. So we're doing the non-academic programs in Staff Development Center. So strike does not affect it at all. We signed that agreement and we've been living. ASU strikes have happened since we started. And I want to tell you for free that our first set of master students graduated in the usual, I think even a few weeks before.
Less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
All right.
Yeah, that's what the World Bank says. And his third one, his third concern is that since 2022, we didn't hear the project. I want to tell him again, the project is not ending until June 2026. There's a proverb by my father, my people. He says that now the time when a person wake up, now that time in morning starts. So Oga Fidelis from Conshisha, you've just heard about it. A lot of people have heard from 2019. So it's now that your day is breaking. It's time to engage with CIPESS.
Very well. Solomon, Fidelis, take note of that. Briefly, Dr. Eche, Sue Assault from Boko wants to know, persons with disability, can they also apply? part of inclusion.
Yes, please. In fact, it's a good one that Sue brought this up, because it's one of the things we're going to be doing in 2025, and that is going to be for free, 100%. For not, we don't use people with disability. We use
differently abled.
Yeah. So, and that is something we're going to be engaging with them on. I met with the president here, the state president of people living with quote unquote, because they still use that name, and we are already having a conversation to see how we can engage at the state level people that fall within this association, are well accredited with the association to be part of the training we are going to be doing. But that also does not exempt the fact that we've had one person in that category trained in one of our events. It was even a face-to-face, maybe amongst the first set, isn't it?
At STC.
She's doing amazing. If I called her name on air, I'm sure most people will know her in the agricultural space. She's trained with us. In fact, for her sake alone, we changed her class. It was supposed to take place upstairs. We brought it down. That is how much inclusive we are in our approach.
All right. So you have nothing.
But we are going to be sending a special invitation to the to that association when we are ready.
Okay. And that's because the World Bank doesn't joke with DEIR.
Yes.
Diversity, equity, inclusion, and respect.
Very well.
And we do that a lot in CIPESS-JOSTUM.
Okay, we have some messages. Let's take them, and of course we'll engage with the callers who are still, several of them waiting on the line, and then we'll come back and try to draw a conclusion. This one says, "Good morning, panel on CIPESS facilitator. Mine is about admission into the master's program. I have applied twice, and I wasn't given the admission. Rather, the second time I applied, I was given a PGD on environment. Now I have applied again for Masters in Environmental Sustainability for the next session. Please avail me the necessary qualifications for my admission. This is my qualification. These are my qualifications. BA Agric, Crop and Soil, UAM, CIPESS Certificate in Environmental Standards. Thanks." Okay. Thank you very much for sending in your message. Unfortunately, you didn't put your name, okay? But I can see your name reflecting on your WhatsApp, Francis Ogori. Francis Ogori, we'll get to hear from the center leader. This one says, "Good morning to all the panelists in the studio and the management of Star Radio for this particular program. My name is Godwin Onoja. I'm a HND holder in public administration. I intend to proceed for my PGD in sustainable social standards. And how much is it going to cost me to run my PGD in sustainable social standard?" Godwin Onoja from Nima Layout in Makurdi. The question, he wants to know if CIPESS certificates. Doyum Elizabeth from High Level. "My concern is I have BSc ED Social Studies. So do I need a degree, or can I enroll straight for Masters? And must I be science student before I can enroll for BSc or MSc academic courses?" Okay, Doyun, thank you. We'll respond to that. This one says, "Good morning, iGate. It is a very wonderful program. Can a retiree apply?" Yes. Wana Moses from Kilometer 4, Naka Road. Thank you, Wana. This one says, "Good morning, presenter and directors. I have listened to your discussion. I love it, but would love to ask, how is the training like? Any financial implication for registration? Is it inclusive of both state and federal university students? Would love to undergo the training. How do I register?" Jumo Great Ochofe from Benue State University. I think Ochofe called in. Ochofe, thank you for your message. Some of those messages, let's pause there, take some few calls. When we come back, we'll respond to those concerns and draw our concluding thoughts, because our time is really no longer there. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. Hello.
Thank you very much. Your speaker has mentioned me. So that's calling by.
Could you hello? Could you move away from your radio so that we hear you better?
I'm Sue. Call back.
Okay, Sue.
Yeah, from Boko.
Oh, okay, Sue. Speak briefly.
Thank you. Your question, I've heard your question. So I can't wait to, you say 2025 that the disability will be included, right?
All right. So thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have answered your question. You're satisfied. You needed not to have called back anyway. All the same, we appreciate you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us. You are our last caller, so speak briefly. We'll give you just 1 minute.
Okay, sir. My name is Mr. Jairus Tumala from High Level.
Good to have you, Jairus.
Okay, thank you so much for your work. You are too much.
Thank you. Thanks for your kindness.
My question, blind man, he have BSc in public administration. How can he come in? How do you use it in training the people? Other disabled who can see, how they can write. They're blind, they have facility to train him on his master's as a post administration. And the questions.
All right. Thank you, Jairus. All right. For want of time, the last call we'll take. Now let's come back to some of these posers we have again to respond to them. Tefa, my concern is I have a BSc ED in social studies. Do I need a degree in science to enroll? Dr. Eche, we spoke about that, but just a pointed reminder, a response.
Yes, I was hoping that the center leader would answer that.
Okay.
The lady with the BSc.
Education, yes. But you see, she says she has a BSc Ed, Social Studies.
Yes.
Yes, so that's clearly the social sciences. So
by the BSc
by the education. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's you don't have to be a science student to apply, but it depends on which of the 3 areas you are applying for. But if you apply, you might be given a PGD. I would not sit in the studio that to eligibility criteria are there. So you might need to do a PGD. I'm not too sure. So just find out and then you'll be good to go.
All right. So do you? Can a retiree also apply?
Oh, wow.
This is from Juana Moses.
Absolutely. Absolutely, like they say. Actually, you see, this CIPESS project has been, it's not such an academic program. Like even our facilitators, the World Bank insists that we must not have only professors, doctors. So we have on our facilitator list, we engage retired adults because experience, the man with experience cannot be at the mercy of a man with knowledge. The World Bank has said those of us in the university, we have knowledge, but we don't have experience on the field. So we retirees can apply. And please, we are expecting your application, Oga Wana Moses. Thank you.
All right. So retirees can apply.
Yes.
Moses put in your application. Now, Dr. Eche, are there practical cases of how your program has impacted participants positively? We are drawing to a close now.
That's correct. So I think this is like we took it earlier on. We've seen promotion cases, we've seen appointment cases, we've seen where and how we have impacted on our trainees or those that took the training in our center. I also need to mention here that this project has not only impacted on the communities that we're training in, but even in our immediate environment. I'm talking about the university itself, how this project has transformed our landscape in terms of how we even deliver on the things we do now, and how we also now understand project implementation, even as a university, from a different angle. We're seeing expansion in terms of the university now has a robust learning management system upon which you can just walk into our standard studio. I can even promote our studio. If you came in there, you would prefer to move there.
No, not a broadcast studio of the standard of our gateway.
It's a teaching studio.
Very well.
It's a teaching studio with state of the art facilities. I can tell you that. So yes, so we have this going on for us, and we take pride in knowing that we are one of the few universities in Nigeria that currently have such facility on ground. So, and that is in the university. We have different repositories where even lecturers can subscribe to and download research papers for free at no cost. We've subscribed to Elsevier, and this is going into millions already. We don't need to call figures here. So I'm just trying to state a few ways how we have impacted on the university as a project and implementing body. But most importantly, how we are seeing the change coming into our environment now. We've seen our alumni having strength of character as they implement their day-to-day job in their various places of vocations.
Okay, Center Leader.
Yes.
Is CIPESS open to collaboration with government agencies, private sector organizations, and civil society?
You hit the nail on the head. A friend of mine says, you hit the head on the nail, you know. So one of the core areas that the SPECS project is engaging in is partnership and collaboration. We don't joke with it for any SPECS Center of Excellence. So we collaborate with government, we collaborate with MDAs, we collaborate with organizations, you know, companies. We are collaborating even with Dangote. Our students go there for industrial visits, and the internship is going to be and internships and all of that. So we are open to collaboration. You can call us also for collaboration. The number to call is 080 for anything, any queries. 08038.
Let me take the number too in case I will need it.
Please, you will need it, but you will need it, Nathaniel. 08038 288040. You will be speaking directly with the deputy director. My number is in the public space. Go on our website. My number is there. So just call those numbers. They are all active, and we have a dedicated line as well. So collaboration, write us, call us for collaboration. As long as what you're doing has relevance to these three areas that we've talked about, you are welcome. And then I want to go on to say,
yes,
if you don't mind,
and
Nathaniel.
that will be your concluding thoughts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, fine. Okay, fine. Now, someone asked if CIPESS degrees are accredited. We need to answer that.
Very well.
Now, one of the three agencies we mentioned, the principal implementing agency unit of the SPECS project is the National Universities Commission, the NUC. That's the regulatory body of all universities. So CIPESS is located in a university. It's a degree of the university. It's supported by the World Bank. The NUC came for visits, pre-accreditation visits. The NUC has given accreditation for all our courses, full accreditation, not even partial accreditation. So everything, there's no hanky-panky, you know, in this matter. And like I kept saying, CIPESS, the university has owned it. At the withdrawal of World Bank funding, CIPESS, the University Senate has approved that CIPESS is transiting to an institute. It will become IPESS, Institute of Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards. The Senate has approved it. The University Council has approved it. So it's not, like I said, it's not a flash in the pan. It's going to continue even after World Bank withdraws sponsorship. Now, this BSc admission, you are allowed to change course if you've caught the flow, if you've caught the fire and you want to come. Go and change of course choice, change and come on to procurement. Let's do this together. Come on to environmental sustainability. Come on to sustainable social development. And February, you can come in direct entry. Our BSc students are going to end their second semester, and then you can join direct entry from if you have a relevant course. So parents, advise your children. This is a new thing. Come on board and let's do this together.
Okay, to conclude, Dr. Eche, re-emphasize that website again where the listener can log on to and access information about CIPESS-JOSTUM.
Okay, www.cipess, FUAM, FUAM.edu.ng.
Again.
I'll take it again. www.cipessfuam.edu.ng.
Okay, and so once you log there, every information you need is there for you from the process of application and every other details. Thank you so much. This is where we must conclude on today's edition of Perspectives as time has permitted us. Today we focus on the mandate of Center for Innovation in Procurement, Environmental and Social Standards Joseph Sarwuan, Tarka University, Makurdi, CIPESS-JOSTUM, and the center leader and director of CIPESS-JOSTUM, Professor Lami Nnamonu, joined us on this edition. We thank you very much indeed, center leader, for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you.
It's
my pleasure.
All right. Dr. Chris Eche is a deputy director of CIPESS-JOSTUM. Dr. Eche, thank you very much indeed for your valuable insight.
Thank you very much.
Dear listener, that's our program today. Join us on Wednesday for a fresh edition of Perspectives. My name is Nathaniel Nongu. Have yourself a great week ahead. Goodbye. And please take advantage of CIPESS-JOSTUM.